Hello, folks. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Michael Graham Show. As you can see, I'm not Big Mike. He's a little under the weather today, a little under the weather. Big guy, hope you feel better. Hope you feel better.
Yes, sir.
Sitting in with us today, we have Rick Goings, now legendary basketball player out of Coolidge and Wheaton High School in this area, who's doing a lot of things throughout the community. So, hey, Rick, glad you could be here.
I'm glad to sit in, man. Glad
Yes,
you guys
indeed.
had me.
Glad to come on in here with me today. You guys know we're all emphasis on sports, of course, and especially Georgetown, and hey, basketball in the area and all sports. I do want to mention, though, we're going to be concentrating on a lot of nonprofits and things that we can do to help the kids in our community. For example, I would like to mention my mentor, Mrs. Carissa Williams with Building Hope Inc., who I'm a member of. If you want to get your applications for the Christmas drive, which is Toys for Kids, if there's a single mother with kids, you need some toys, go to buildinghopeinc.org or go on Facebook to Building Hope Inc. Inbox Mrs. Carissa Williams for information on the application. I believe this is the last couple of days. This might be the last to get that in. So if you know a family or kids who need toys or just in general things for Christmas, give us a shout. Definitely get in touch with us. I believe we took care of more than 400 or 500 kids last Christmas. And again, emphasis on the kids. We're going to have some pretty good guests calling in today. I know we're going to have Erwin Chico Church, which is Rick's buddy, one of his best pals, and we're going to have another DC legend, Ducky Vaughn. You guys may know Ducky Vaughn, so we're definitely going to get that in. I would like to also mention, because there's a lot of great organizations out in the PG County area. I'm an old PG County guy. Upper Marlboro, Maryland, southern area. Like, I know James Proctor Jr. is doing a lot of stuff with the Gwynn Park High School, and you guys may know his father, James Proctor Sr., who recently passed on, bless him. And Mrs. Proctor, Susie, who's filling in as delegate out there. They're doing a lot of good stuff in the southern Maryland area. As well, I'd like to shout out to Darrell Barnes, who his men's Aiming Higher program is doing a lot for at-risk kids. They're doing a lot of good stuff throughout the PG County area. We'll be partnering, Big Mike and I, with the People for Change Coalition as well, who are doing a lot of stuff for kids in different organizations. So you all stay tuned for that. I'd like to also give a personal shout out to a young lady, Skylar, over at H.D. Woodson, women's basketball team. She's got a basketball scholarship going down to Alabama A&M. So good job, Skylar. You're doing a great job.
That's great stuff.
Yeah. So, and getting back to our theme with the kids, I'm so glad that Rick let me ask you, any kin of Glenn Goings?
Nah, that's not.
You know what I'm talking about? He might be too young, folks. Glenn Goings, he played with George Clinton and Palmer Funkadelic.
I had to ask my father.
You never know, man. You never know. It's a small world.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting over to that theme of the kids, I am honored to be sitting here with you because you do a lot. You elaborate on a lot of different things that you're doing.
Man, we started out, man, me and my partners about 3 years ago, and the focus was to help kids that don't get the same exposure opportunities
Right.
that a lot of the bigger name kids do. Now we started out working with one kid. I tell the story a lot because the kid was told by some of his coaches he wasn't a Division I basketball player. He wasn't good enough.
Right.
I mean, I didn't think he should accept that. He had a great senior year, went to prep school, had to fix his academics, and now he's going his third year at a Division I school.
That's great.
And behind him came another kid that was having some academic issues, but we got him in college too. So as one came and another one came, several more did. One of my proudest as well is Rodney Pryor, who was at Georgetown last year.
Right.
I worked really close with him. So the vision was just to if you put kids in front of coaches and you put them in the same situations you put some of the more known kids in,
right,
they'll take advantage of the opportunity the same way.
Right.
So my program, everyone deserves a shot.
Right. That's great because there are a lot of kids that are being overlooked.
Yeah.
In this area, so it's good that you're able to do that. Now you were a guard at Coolidge, weren't you?
Yeah, man. I went to Coolidge for 2 years. We didn't win a lot of games, but I had a good time. I ended up going out Wheaton my senior year playing
Yeah.
for Steve Hood. We had a good time. Went 18-6, lost in the regional final. So, I didn't have a great high school career, but I had a lot of fun.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
don't want to play in college, but didn't have it's still just that experience and the
Right.
time I got to play gave me energy to do what I do now.
Right. So, what are some of your bigger challenges when you're dealing with some of the kids that come to you? Because I can imagine that some of them aren't from a lot of the best environments.
Normally it's two things: understanding the recruiting process and then the academic side of it. So, understanding that schools have multiple scholarships, but they're
Right.
not looking for the same positions every
And,
year.
and that's another thing that you do. You help kids get scholarships.
Yeah,
Correct?
that's the main focus.
That's the main
That's
goal.
the main focus.
Right.
And it's also teaching them to understand the process as well,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of kids think, well, this school like me, or it's a lot more.
Right.
It's a lot more complicated than that. These
Right.
coaches' jobs on the line. So they got to make sure you're the right fit, and when you get there, you're going to do what you got to do.
Right.
So my goal is to prepare the kids for that journey.
Do you look at you can how things are going with the AAUs and all the camps nowadays? Do you ever look at that and say, I mean, how do you with your kids compared to those camps? How do you get them? What brings them to you?
I try not to compare myself to those guys because they operate with the elite and it's.
And what do you think about the new AAU processes now? All the kids are just going to the camps, and boom.
I think that's when you look at the influence that the shoe companies have had, and when corporate
Right.
influence come in and it's no longer about basketball, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
Our programs, we don't have a sponsor.
Gotcha.
This is done out of our pocket. So, we get to actually work with kids that just focus on basketball and academics. We don't have to. Play politics and this
Right.
kid, that kid. We try to help as many kids as we can. We can't help everybody,
Right,
but we
can't.
try to help as many as we
And
can.
you actually go into their homes.
I mean,
talk to
whether they
parents?
come to I go to their house, they come to
Right.
mine, or we go to our gym.
Right.
We spend a lot of personal time with them so that they can get that one-on-one attention that sometimes they need.
Right. Exactly. That's amazing. I mean, again, I'm. What you do is just outstanding. We need more people in our area that put emphasis on helping these kids. What were some of your motivations as a kid coming up? Who did you look up to?
I mean,
what inspired you?
When it comes to basketball in life, man, always this is my father. My father, Big Rick, he always had me in the gym, and always, he never let me feel like I could fail at anything.
Right.
And then my mom and my grandmom and my aunt, like they always, made sure I was on the path to do the right thing. And whatever I needed to do, they helped me. They
Right.
backed me to my partner. I always got shout out my Brian Butler, who ran the rec center when I was little. I mean, he had me in the gym when I was 15, 16. I was able to go in the gym when nobody was in there.
Right.
So when you look at people that do things just for kids, those are the people I want to be like. That's just doing it to help progress somebody else.
Right. Exactly. we have to kind of give back. There needs to be, I believe, what do you think, more recreation centers here in the area?
The interesting thing about that is we actually have a lot of rec centers. There's more than before. The problem is, number one, they're not available. So, I mean, to me, DC recs and PG County recs are open 6 hours during the weekend. Doesn't make too much sense.
What caused that, I wonder?
I don't know whether it's budgetary or, and then when they're open, normally there's some other program, going on. One thing about the rec center I grew up at, it was open from 1 to 9 every day. So we got to play ball and do other things, but we never were told you can't come in the gym.
Right.
And that makes a difference. So we just got to get back to a rec department that focuses on let's get these kids out the streets and give them something to do.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what me and the big guy we're going to try to do and put a lot of our emphasis on. Again, helping these youths. Also, a shout out to the John Wall Foundation, who helps out with building hope. They bring a couple of ball players. Mrs. Williams, Caressa Williams with Building Hope. They bring some ball players down. And Mike and I also, we do a clinic every year for Miss Building Hope Inc., where we just bring the kids in, just try to teach them basic fundamentals, along with Freddie Brown. Hey, Fred, my man Fred, who also
that's the legend.
Yes, indeed, Fred is a legend. So I do believe Fred is doing his a camp through First Baptist Church of Glen Arm, if I'm not mistaken. But I know Fred is doing a lot of things with kids as well. So, definitely shout out to everyone that's doing stuff for the kids. What do you think about our Wizards?
Man, they looking good this year.
Yeah.
They got a strong backcourt. I don't like what I saw against Golden State, and the reason why I said it is they went to this one-on-one game, and to me, that's not like you're not going to win that way. I'm not sorry, Warriors. I'm sorry, I meant against the Lakers.
The Lakers,
the
Lakers
against
game,
the ball. Right. You can't let those John and Brad are too old to be influenced by what anybody's saying. If you saw those last couple of possessions, it was one-on-one. It was almost like a street ball game.
It was.
Remember, you guys are the veterans. Let's play team. Let's get to the playoffs and try to get. I think they got a chance to do something special this year, especially with the transitions in Boston and Cleveland. But they're going to have to play team basketball, the one-on-one, because I'm trying to outplay John. John has done more in his career than most Wizards, the guys that play for the Wizards. So I wouldn't be thinking about Lonzo Ball if I was John Wall.
Everyone's caught up in the Lonzo Ball hype right now. And everyone's caught up in it.
The kid is amazing, man. I like his game, but for veterans to give him this much attention, I just think he's not even, he's more Jason Kidd. He's not looking to come back and give you 30, 40 points.
Right.
You could score 10 straight points for him. He's going to try to make his teammates
Can he become a Magic Johnson?
I think it's no question.
Right.
I think it's no question. But, he's not a guy that you got to try to dominate. He's going to make the guys around him. He has a lot of average guys in his team looking really good right now. That's what he's going to do for the next 20 years.
Right. A lot of people are up in arms about the father. But one thing I will say about the father, that's some great marketing.
Oh, it's not even just great marketing, man. It's believing in your kids.
Believing in your kids.
He's not doing anything. The kid can play. He's not saying nothing wrong. It's funny they want to talk about black fathers not being there, then they want to talk about him for being there.
Right.
He
is there.
I have no problem with what he does. He's building showing his son how to own stuff, not just
that's right.
How to work for somebody else. So I have no problem with it. I'm a LeVar Ball fan. Right.
They built the brand. You got to give it to them. They built the brand. And just like Venus and Serena's father,
no question.
He loves his kid. He's high on him. He marketed those kids. It's great marketing. Now, you briefly mentioned the Golden State Warrior game, the little skirmish there. I think at times the Wiz need to show a little more of that.
I missed that game. I saw some of what happened.
Little altercation.
That's going to happen. That's basketball. I think Draymond's a passionate player. I think Bradley cares, but to me, I saw guys come off the bench and stuff like when you can't do that.
Right.
So
you can't do that.
Let's not do that. But a little rough, and that shows that you care, because it's hard. A lot of these guys play, they don't care anymore. So I can I get it.
Right. I think just a tad more, a little more muscle.
Yeah.
A little more muscle for the guys. A little more muscle. But we're gonna do just great. It's home team sports.
Definitely. Man.
Bottom line, home team sports. So yes, folks out there, we're gonna be talking to Chico pretty soon. Irvin, Chico Church. Did you guys play together?
No. Chico's way older than me.
Yeah, he's
he played. I'm a huge historian of the game.
Right. Okay.
I do a lot of posting on older guys, and of course we did the Legends League. Chico played in that, and I've done my research on him. He was a winner on every level he played in. He got to play with a lot of good guys, and he'll be putting in Georgetown in the Legend Coalition this summer. So
and right, for those who don't know, touch on your Legends League.
The Legends Coalition was a league. Myself and Brian Chase, who's a DC Legend, former NBA player, started last summer, and the goal was to, bring back a focus on DC playground basketball.
Right.
We ended up with 30 different teams representing their high schools.
30 different teams.
Classic finals between Spingarn and Oxon Hill, but. The impressive part for me was not just the crowds, but the legends that played. We had Kurt Smith, we had Greg Jones, Lonnie Harrell, we had Lawrence Moulton.
Yes, indeed.
We had Daryl Prue.
There's some names there.
We had guys playing, man.
This is truly DC legends.
And you know, Chico played for Parkdale, and man, he shot the lights out. You know, so, and I know one thing about him. He lived in Vegas for a while, so he was there for a while. So I know a lot of people kind of maybe forgot what he had done because he'd been gone for so long.
Right.
But man, Chico's my guy. He cares a lot about this area, Georgetown basketball. He's trying to get involved. So, you know, I talk to him at least probably every other week.
Yeah, that's good. He's back in the area. That's good. Yeah, and speaking of some legends, DC legend, I gotta again, you know, me being an old PG County guy who went to Douglas. I didn't play any basketball, but let me tell you something. There was some basketball playing back in the days now. And I got to mention, there was a Wynn Park, had this guy called Sonny Boy Proctor, and a lot of you going to know Sonny Boy Proctor. This Southern Maryland guys, and Lord Gray, Mark the General Clark. And Douglas had Kenny Hires and Lewis Wilson, who's doing a really good job over at Riverdale Baptist coaching.
Played at Howard, I think.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Played and coached at Howard, I do believe. Kenny Hires, Lewis Wilson, Buddy Douglas, those guys. That was one of the best high school basketball games I've seen. Now, maybe because I was in school back at that time, but let me tell you, those out there that know that was a game. Douglas Wynn Park was a great game. And Oxon Hill had guys like Booty Neal back in them days. Fairmont High Space. So, yep. Again, PG had some ballers too now. There's a lot of good ballers come out of PG. So, yes, indeed, folks. We want y'all to call on in. You have the number. Call on in. And we'll be joined also by Dickie Vaughn. No, we'll be calling Dickie Vaughn.
Dickie Vaughn, yeah, man, he's an Urban Coalition legend. You know, he's been a big supporter of mine behind the scenes. But you know, you look at the impact of what he had been a little guard. You ask a lot of little guards that came through the area. The Kurt Smith, they'll say they modeled their game after Ducky, who. You know, he was. They say, and I didn't get to see him play, but I've done my research. They say he wasn't fast, he wasn't quick, but you couldn't stop him from scoring.
He was the man.
He was the man.
He's definitely a legend in the D.C. area. He came out of high school in what year?
He came out in '73. He was at Duval.
Yeah, he
did his last year in North Carolina, but he ended up going to Cornell, and man, you know, you talking about the Ivy League. He dominated Ivy League.
And he went to the NBA, didn't he?
He had some tryouts for Boston and Denver, but he got there. You know, his reputation back home speaks for itself.
Right. Yeah, he is a DC legend. I guess let me give Irvin a call. Let's see. Let's give Irvin Chico Church a call here.
Hello.
Chico, Irvin.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good, man. This is Eric Hawkins, the co-host with over the Michael Graham Show.
Okay, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
I'm doing good, my man. Sitting here with your buddy Rick, man. Rick Goings.
What's going on?
Hey, Rick, how you doing, man?
What's going on?
All right, nothing much.
Yes,
staying busy.
You've been hearing a lot of good things about you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, that's good.
I'm glad that. Go ahead. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Rick's been filling me in with a lot of things. So, folks, we got Irvin Chico Church, another Georgetown legend on the phone.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's everybody doing? Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. It's great to catch back up with you, man. You know, I was kind of filling in a co-host here on, you know, a couple things you did over the years. You know, kind of talk about where you started out. You know, I know you were Northwestern Parkdale. You won state championship. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I moved around quite a bit, and during high school, that's why I wound up in Parkdale. And I grew up in the area, and most of my time I spent at the University of Maryland campus because of a good friend of the family was there. So I was influenced a lot by Len Bias and grew up around Clint Venable and those guys and watching them and trying to play like them. That was tough. I had to work out every day, every day. But just this whole area, playing in D.C., Maryland, Virginia, I was able to hone my craft and play at the top of my ability, and I really enjoyed it.
You did pretty good, Chico. You did pretty good now. I mean, you at Georgetown, 508 points, 59 steals, something like that?
Yeah.
Sound about right?
It was a good time. Yeah, sounds about right.
Right. You were ninth in the Big East, 91, 92. Is that your freshman year?
Yeah, that was my freshman year.
With your three-pointers, your field goals, and attempts in the Big East. So that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing to laugh about. That's pretty good. Big East is always pretty tough.
Oh, always. You playing in the Big East, you got to bang. There was not too much finesse going on. we beat you up from end to end.
No, definitely,
we
man.
Took pride in it.
Now, one thing is I want to kind of ask you about. I know your freshman year, Zoe was still there, right?
Yes.
And your senior year, Allen Iverson was there.
Yes.
So how was it playing with both of them? I mean, two of the best to ever step on the NBA court. How was it being teamed with them?
Oh, in practice, those guys really pushed. With Alonzo, he was more of the authoritative type of leader, come in and get everybody ready to go. He took responsibility for a lot of stuff, and he pushed us, and it was great being able to learn the game with him and play with him, because a lot of times we had Zoe to bail us out.
Yes, indeed.
And then when Allen came along, that was a completely different type of leadership. He did a lot he led by doing. We would have, at the end of practice, we would do our suicides, and after that, he would still run after that and still have the energy to go. And then your tongue's hanging out. You ready to go to the shower. You're like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. Let me get on out here. At least pass the ball out to him.
Man,
and shoot around with him a little bit.
No, it's amazing you say that, man, because a lot of people define Allen Iverson from that press conference where he talked about practice. But, so to hear you say you've seen the guy put the work in, I mean, I think that's amazing stuff.
That was a complete fallacy, but that was ridiculous.
Right.
When people took that and ran with it, because anybody that knows Allen or even been around Allen playing basketball or whatever knows that he puts the work in. I remember we played against Connecticut at Connecticut, and he twisted his ankle, and I was hurt at the time. He went back out there on 1 foot, got a rebound, and took it the length of the floor for a layup before Connecticut could get back on defense on 1 foot.
Man,
that's the determination he had and the willingness to win that he had.
Yeah, man.
He pulled all of us right with him.
He was fast.
Man, legendary.
Oh, man. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. Another person I saw who was that fast was Muggsy Bogues. I don't know if people realize how fast Muggsy Bogues was.
Yeah, Muggsy was quick, too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You got a chance to play against Lawrence Moulton, right? When he was at Syracuse?
Yeah, we also played together in the Boston Shootout our senior year. So we were pretty familiar with one another, and playing against Moulton was tough. Man, he whatever you thought you were doing on defense, he found a way to use your strength against you and get that shot off.
Yeah, man, that's what I hear about. That's the Big East all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, boy, he had a way of boxing you down on that block, and he had you. That was it. That was it. You were at his mercy.
Yeah, man. So you were in Vegas for a while, right? You kind of left the area.
Yeah. When I graduated, I moved out to Las Vegas and got into the casino industry. I did that for about 21 years in Vegas.
Wow.
And I worked at the Caesars Palace, Wynn Las Vegas, the Cosmopolitan, I enjoyed my time out there. A lot of good basketball players out in that area as well.
Man, I see.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What are you doing nowadays?
Oh, I'm back home. I'm at the MGM National Harbor
Okay.
as a table games floor supervisor. Happy to be back home. Still making my rounds. Still trying to see everybody that I missed since I've been gone, and trying to get around and just get acclimated back to being in the area.
Yep.
The Legends League was great. I appreciate you. Thanks, Rick.
Nah, man, I was
I
gonna
really
ask you about that, man.
appreciate
I mean, I saw you shoot the lights out for Parkdale, man. A lot of people coming up to me saying, "Man, Chico back home." How was that experience for you this summer?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I've seen a lot of guys I haven't seen in years. Getting a chance to see them and play against them and just have some fun, some good competitive fun with those guys. And the turnout every week was awesome. My mom was telling me, I can't believe all these people showed up every week. And I was like, yeah, during the 80s and the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
that was the heyday for DMV basketball.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Wasn't the gym empty during that time?
Yeah, and it's hard to pack one now. So next year we discussed with the Georgetown alumni team looking to come together. Who's some of the players you thinking about reaching out to for that team?
I'm gonna try and get a couple of guys. See if I can get maybe Lamont Morgan, and I don't know how confident I am, but I think if I reach out and try and give Allen a call, he might come through.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be something.
Jim might not be big
enough. I'm working on it. I'm working.
Yes, stay on top of that one.
Hopefully I can get Bebe. Hopefully I can get Bebe and Mark Tillman and get them guys, involved. So at least we have a good showing and representation of Georgetown basketball.
I definitely know if it's a person to do it, it's you, man. You had a lot of passion this summer, and I think you can get it done.
Yes, we got to get you out with us. When we doing some stuff with these kids.
Okay, yeah. Give me a call. I work at night at the casinos, but I'm off on the weekends. So anything that comes up, and you guys have anything going on the weekends, just give me a call. I'll be gladly to come. I have to be happy to come through and help out.
Actually, one more. I can't let you off the phone without this, man. You came behind the great Henry Hall at Parkdale. A lot of people asked about him. Just if you could just say a couple things about Henry Hall real quick that you remember.
Oh, Parkdale basketball. That man there, the legend. When I found out they retired his jersey, I was kind of sad. I wanted to be there. I didn't even know they were doing it until the next day. I found out, somebody told me about it. But Henry, to me, I looked up to Henry, and what he did out on the floor, I tried to emulate. I just come down and shoot from as close to half court as I could.
Yeah, Henry.
That was my day to come down. I want to be like Henry. Step across half court and let it fly.
Man, his 38 points per game in high school in PG County hasn't been touched since, man. And
that's amazing.
I mean, man,
that's a new one on me. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah. As much as I would have loved to bring a championship to Northwestern, I was very, very happy and honored to be able to go to Parkdale and win a championship. That was a great time.
Man.
Coach Freeman and Colonel Thompson, they really took the time with us and really worked with us. We worked hard, and Parkdale will always be in my heart, even though I was only there just 1 year, but I still love Parkdale and Northwestern just the same.
Man, that's
right.
a great story, man.
Right. Well, let me ask you. You're Georgetown alum. You're a Hoya. What do you think about Patrick getting the coaching job? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's great. I can't wait to see what they put out on the floor. I know it's going to be fast paced. Those guys are going to be ready to go. I like the schedule. A lot of people have been saying that the schedule isn't a good schedule.
Right. We hearing a lot of that.
Yeah, I think that with Patrick coming on as late in the recruiting process as he did, and with the players, I think that getting those games and getting a few games under their belt
Right.
and building their confidence will get them
Exactly.
ready for the big tournament.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's some talented guys on that team. Some real talented guys on that team. I'm looking forward to watching them play.
Yeah, definitely, man. Some talented young guys.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be at some of the games supporting as well, right?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be there, cheering them on, and helping us anywhere that I can.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hey, we definitely appreciate you calling in.
All right. Hey, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. I really like the radio show, and I big up to Mike Graham. I give him his respect, the OG.
Yes, indeed. He's a little under the weather right now, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah. I hope he feels better.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you, boy.
Okay, y'all take it easy. Have a good night.
Yes, indeed. Thanks. Take care now.
All right.
You know,
All right, you too.
It's interesting. He brought up Georgetown's schedule. I mean, a lot of people have talked about it.
Yes.
You know, when they enter, and it's kind of hard being Patrick because normally John Thompson III played one of the toughest schedules in the country. Mm-hmm. So Patrick comes in. It's important you establish that early confidence.
Right.
So
and that's what it is, right? The guys to get the cohesiveness together.
Because the thing is, winning is an attitude and a mentality. Mm-hmm. You get 5, 6, 7 wins in a row, and that's one thing that could never happen last year. They could never get the winning streak they needed to get that confidence. Now that I think now they have a chance to win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row.
Right.
You go into that Big East with a winning record and you're feeling good about yourself. You never know what can happen. Shots start falling and things start happening that you might not have planned for, but because you have that confidence now, now it's working out.
You realize you can make that shot, or you realize you can get that rebound,
or get that stop.
You can go a little bit more get that stop. Yes, indeed. So yeah, I didn't ask you what were your thoughts about the big guy coaching.
Oh man, it's funny because one of his good friends, Chris Whitney, is one of my mentors. Me and Chris
is
talk
that
all
right?
the time.
Okay.
Chris tells me that Pat is an excellent coach.
Mm-hmm.
I have no reason to doubt that. My only concern with it was, I deal with the recruiting side.
Right.
And sometimes,
exactly.
I know a lot of great coaches that just can't land the guys they need to win at the level they're at.
Right.
So, what it's going to be really important that Pat establishes, the ability to recruit here. I think the 2 DC kids he signed is huge for the program.
Right.
My cousin's on the staff over there. Shout out to my cousin Akbar. He's one of my biggest fans. He's supported everything I've done.
Okay.
He does a great job recruiting, and I think that now that they took 2 DC kids now,
right.
I think it's going to help them build for the future. That's why a combination of that with winning games early, I think it helped Pat get off to a great start.
That's what we're wishing for, big guy.
Definitely.
He's going to do well. We need to give him some time, let him get the program going. Going back to the AAU thing. Because, Mike Krzyzewski's now going down and getting those AAU guys. He once swore he wouldn't do that before. But we do have enough talent in this area.
To win, it's no question. They come here to get our talent.
Exactly.
What Pat's going to have to do is, specifically with some of the things going on, specifically behind the NCAA investigations, is now it's going to go back to I need to build a relationship great with the parent and probably with the high school coach. And I think that if he can, and he knows that side of recruiting.
Right.
The AAU guys are the AAU guys. Some are great and they're about kids. Some are about other things. I mean, that's the reality. And I think the faster Pat learns to navigate that, but I think the guys on his staff understand that, and they'll help him get up to speed on that quickly.
Okay. Well, hey, let's give Ducky a call here. Let me give Ducky Vaughn a call out there. Duck, pick up the phone.
One of the viewers was saying that John Thompson once said you can schedule yourself out of a job. That's true, but I also feel those games is how you also take kids and get them pro opportunities as well.
Okay.
And it gets you ready for those one and done games.
Right. Yep. Wish him all the well. I'll definitely be out there this year.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ducky Vaughn.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Eric Hawkins, the co-host of the Michael Graham Show. Mike was a little under the weather, as I'm sure you know. He couldn't make it in here today, but I got a great guy filling in here with me. I couldn't have asked for a better person to sit down, a great person from the D.C. area with knowledge of all things basketball. And hey, you are the myth, the man, the legend, Ducky Vaughn, sitting here with your guy, Ricky Goins.
My man. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely, man. Wanted to bring you on, man. Just, you one of my greatest supporters. Giving me a lot of advice. So it's a. Every time I speak to you, man, it's an honor. Just to be able to have a conversation with you.
Well, I appreciate all the things. I think I've told you this before about your effort to keep us relevant. It's meant a lot to all of us, and it should mean a lot to those who played the game, who know the game, and appreciate the game. And one good thing about what you do is you allow people to understand how important it is to know your history and the type of talent that come out of this area, in the whole DMV area. So I'm very appreciative of that, and that's why I've always thought that was good for what you do, and always be supportive of that.
Nah, I appreciate that, Doug. Man, but one thing I wanted to, a lot of people, they remember you from the Herbo, and I mean, you're a legend in this town. But I want you to kind of, if you could, talk about your experience in the Ivy League. I mean, being, conference, all conference both years, and at a time when, before games were broadcasted on national TV. What was it like, competing in the Ivy League and then, taking that all the way to the pro camps?
Well, yeah, I can go. Let me go back a little bit before that with you, because a lot of people. I started off at Spingarn.
Oh yeah.
And the guy, the coach over there, Lindsay, had told me not to come out for the team because they already had their team.
Wow.
So I transferred up to Phelps with Rock Green. And I ended up making the team up there, but they never let me play in practice. So, I use that as a motivating tool, to never let that happen again. But anyway, and that's why I always tell kids, sometimes you can use those type of situations as motivators, or you can sit and sulk about it. But anyway, the following year, I transferred all the way out to Duval. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get on George Palmer Highway and hitchhike all the way to Duval, which is out in Lanham.
Right.
5 days a week.
That's passion.
I used to get home about 12 o'clock at night, and then start it all over at 4:30 the next morning.
Wow.
And but see, that was because I really wanted to make it in basketball. And I went out there and I played for a guy named Bob Tucker. I ended up starting in the 10th grade out there, and my 10th grade year, I made all conference, all conference, second team, all conference. In my junior year, out there, my 11th grade year, we were the second ranked team in the whole area, and the highest scoring team in the whole area. And I played with, I guess you remember, I think John Bowie, whose son played at Maryland, and a guy named Michael Williams, Earl Williams, Kenny Norris, and myself, and all three of us averaged about 18 points a game or better. Me, John Bowie, and Michael. And I also made, once again, made second team all county. But anyway, my senior year at Duval, they didn't allow me to play. I wasn't too old. It's just my graduation class had left. So I transferred where I went to school in North Carolina with my grandmother. I played my senior year in a little town called Enfield, North Carolina. And when I played at Enfield, North Carolina, I ended up making two-way player of the year.
Phil Ford and Buck Williams and all those guys was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, which was about 18 miles away.
Uh-huh.
And then after I got there, I got a scholarship offer to Duke. I mean, not to Duke, but to a junior college in North Carolina called Kittrell College, which was a 2-year school. Took the offer there because I didn't think I was ready at that particular time to go far away from home to play. But in the process of doing that, I made all JUCO, all conference down in Kittrell 2 years in a row. And after my sophomore year, I got a scholarship offer to Duke. And that's when they had Eugene Banks and those and just Binocle and those guys. Yeah, down there. And but they didn't want to give me a full scholarship. They wanted to give me a partial scholarship. But anyway, we were playing Duke University freshman team when I was at Kittrell Junior College, and I think I had like 38 points, and I stole the ball like maybe 5 or 6 times. And anyway, Cornell University was playing against Duke in the main game, and when I went back to school the next day, the guy called me, the administrator called me out and said somebody from Cornell wanted to talk to you. And I went up there, and it happens to be, it was only 2 black coaches in the Ivy League that year. Seth Sanders was at Harvard, and Ben Blewett was at Cornell. And he made a proposition to me. He just said, I know a lot of schools wanted you, which they did. And he said, but and I can't guarantee you that you would make the NBA. But I will guarantee you that I have to get a degree from one of the best colleges in the country.
Right. You get that degree from an Ivy League school.
Right. So, coming from down by Watts Playground on East Capitol Street and seeing so many guys go off to school and come back without a degree, one of the things I wanted to do that I thought was important to my community was to not be used in that way that they just used me for sports. And then bring me back into the city, put me on a bus and send me back, and I didn't have anything. So I signed with Cornell University, and I think it was one of the best decisions that I ever made. When I got to Cornell, I made second team All Ivy my first year up there, and my senior year at Cornell, I was one of the first players to only play about. I think I played 11 games my senior year and made first team All Ivy, playing 11 games. I didn't play in a full season and stuff. And so my stay at Cornell was an eye opener.
I can imagine.
As far as a culture thing, because back then affirmative action played a lot with these white colleges letting black kids into their school and stuff, and it had the states not intervene, a lot of us wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to those schools.
Right, exactly.
So it was we had some great players in the Ivy League, Armand Hill was at Princeton. At that time, Princeton was one of the best teams in the country, Matter of fact, when Eddie Jordan and them at Rutgers, the team that gave them the hardest time was Princeton with Armand Hill. And Armand Hill played for Princeton, and he was a 6'5" point guard. And a lot of people don't know this, but, Armand Hill is Doc Rivers' top assistant coach. He's been with Doc Rivers ever since.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't know that the 6th player taken in that 1977 draft, you had University of Pennsylvania. They had a dude named Kevin Saunders and Hank Johnson that used to coach up at Dunbar, but the strength and conditioning coach up at Dunbar who played with me with Melvin in the Urban Coalition. But we had some of the best coaches. Tom Penders was at Columbia. Seth Sanders was at Harvard, and the late great Chuck Daly was at University of Pennsylvania.
Chuck Daly. Okay.
Yeah. So we were, like you say, we weren't on TV except for locally at the time. But one of the greatest things about playing in the Ivy League is I got to play at the Palestra. And anybody, that know anything about Philadelphia basketball, that the Palestra was the place to be. Before, even though the old Spectrum with Dr. J and all them played was rocking, but the Spectrum, the Palestra with the Big Five, with Penn and Villanova and Temple and LaSalle and all of them. That was like a special place, man. It was just meant for basketball. That place. So, but anyway, make a long story short, my senior year, I made All Ivy, first team All Ivy, and then when the draft came around, I didn't think I would get drafted, but I thought I had a chance because it went 10 rounds. But what I didn't know, and this is what I didn't know, was that the influence that Chuck Daly, Tom Penders, and Sash Sanders, along with Mike Jarvis, because Mike Jarvis was Sash Sanders' assistant coach.
Mike Jarvis,
okay. When I went to, when the draft came out, I was outside shooting around on the basketball court. And then my sister came in, because the draft would go 10 rounds back then. And I hadn't got drafted, so I just said, well, off to, try to make it another way. Anyway, my sister came outside and said, Red Auerbach is on the phone after the draft was over with. And I told him, stop playing with me because I ain't, y'all trying to be funny. And then she said, no, I'm telling you the truth. Come on in. He said, Red Auerbach is on the phone. So when I went to the phone, Red Auerbach from Boston and Sash Sanders was on the phone, and they were looking for a guard. And he said he had heard a lot about me from Tom Penders and Chuck Daly and Sash Sanders and Mike Jarvis. And they said if you wanted a guard that could really, really flat out play, you'll give him an opportunity. And they gave me an opportunity. They told me if I came to Boston, and Sash Sanders put it on the line. He said if you come up here and you play well, if you play well, you stay. If you play bad, you go home. It was just that simple, So Melvin Roberts, the own Melvin Crab House at the time, I was playing for his team, his summer league team, and stuff. And I was playing up the Urban Coalition and stuff at the time, and playing in the Melvin outdoor and indoor tournament. At that time, he paid for me to go up to Boston. And when I went up to Boston, the one thing that was good about Boston. We was at Camp Millbrook, and we practiced outdoors in the daytime, and indoors at night. And coming from D.C., playing on the playground, that was my thing. I could play playground basketball all day long. But anyway, it was a remarkable experience because if you go to the Celtics camp, and Rick, I don't know if I think I told you this, but you got all these ex-Celtics that comes to the camp. All of them sits around. Bill Russell, Sash Sanders, Casey Jones, Sam Jones, Havlicek. Wow. All of those guys come to the camp. You're kind of like in awe because you've seen these guys. When I was coming up, I used to follow the Celtics all the time. But anyway, Cedric Maxwell was my roommate.
Cornbread Maxwell.
Cornbread Maxwell was my roommate, and we became very, very good friends. Because, matter of fact, he played in North Carolina my senior year. All of us made the All-State team together, but we never saw each other. We never played against each other. But we kind of knew each other from reading in the papers and stuff like that. Anyway, they had Boston had drafted. You remember? Billy Langlow that played at DeMatha. He went to Virginia.
Remember the name.
They drafted Skip Brown from Wake Forest, who made first team All ACC, and they had drafted this guy named Bill Burrell out of Southern California, a guy named Jerry Ford out of Nebraska, and they had a hell of a roster up there. So we were up there and. And what I did is I noticed that I didn't want to play against that in that middle group that they called out there. I wanted to try to work my way in to play against that first group, which was their first 5 draft picks, which was Cedric Maxwell, Billy Langlow, Bill Burrell, and stuff like that. So I kind of like hid behind some of the guys. So when Tommy Heinsohn was the head coach at the time.
Okay.
And what Tommy Heinsohn said, it has everybody got on the floor, and Shannon said, well, little man ain't got out there yet. So he said, well, bring that first 5 back out, right? That was Cedric Maxwell and those guys, right? And he said, little man, you come on out with the second 5. And, you know, Skip Brown was running by us, everybody, because he was first team all ACC. He was their second pick behind Cedric Maxwell. But he was running by everybody. He was so fast and quick. And so when I got on Skip Brown, and the first time he bring the ball up the court, I steal the ball from him and lay it up and in, right? And the next time he come up the court, I steal it from him again and lay it up and in.
That shook some heads.
Yeah. So they started scratching their heads. So Red Auerbach them couldn't believe that because they thought that Skip Brown was the fastest dude that they've seen, or the quickest dude they had seen they had got. And so what they did when the nighttime come, we would practice in the gym at night. And Boston got this thing all the fans could come and watch the guys practice. So at nighttime, we went into the gym, and he said, little man, come out here again. Because what they were trying to say was, like, they didn't believe what they saw earlier, right? You know, they thought it was a mirage or something like that. But, you know.
Called you out again, huh?
Yeah, so they called me out with the first 5, you know, the first 10 players this time. And it was just a repeat of the same thing. And it was like that through the whole time. And for a week in the camp, man, I kept inching up and up and up into the rotation and stuff. And then what happened was John Thompson, you know, that was the time, you know, you're talking about 77, John Thompson, I think he had just got the job at Georgetown and stuff. And, you know, John Thompson had a couple of his kids up there in the camp up there. What was the guy? I can't think of his name. The guard that played for John Thompson, it was about 6'4", and the guy that played for him at St. Anthony. He was
Back,
coaching over St.
this
Anthony.
was what,
77.
But they had a basketball camp for college players going on at the same time. And but when John Thompson and I,
Sleepy was there. Sleepy.
Well, yes. So when I came back home after they made the first cut and I made that cut. So when I came back up there, we were scrimmaging against Charlie Scott, JoJo White, you know, Dave Cowens, all those guys. So we were scrimmaging. So Ed Auerbach them and Tommy Heinsohn them put me on the team against Charlie Scott, and Charlie Scott couldn't get the ball up court because I was really, really hounding them then, right?
You dogged him, right?
And Charlie Scott just stopped in the middle of the court one time and said, "Damn, Red, where did you get this guy from?" Right? You know, and everybody started laughing. So I had became like a fan favorite, but also became a favorite of Bill Russell.
Okay.
And so when Bill Russell was talking to the campers, he was telling the kids, he just said, "Look," he said, "Now he said, where's little man at?" And I raised my hand, and he said, "Look," he said, he said, "I don't know if y'all been watching him, you know," he said, "but I just want to tell you that he played hard, whether he played 2 minutes or 20 minutes or the whole game." He said he gives it all he got all the time, and that's all you can ask for.
Right.
And he said you all need to, you know, model yourself after the way that he does things. He had a great attitude. You know, when he's called on, he's ready. You know, that. But I ended up not making the team because they had drafted a guy named Kevin Stakem out of Providence, who was local and stuff. He played with Marvin Barnes and Ernie DiGregorio up in Providence. And they drafted him, and he had a guaranteed contract. And Red Auerbach said that was one of the toughest decisions that he had to make.
Had to have been.
Yeah. And so, you know, but for me, it was it was everything that I could have asked for and more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it set the stage for how I became the type of player I became. And I tell kids all the time that it wasn't about people outplaying me. I just didn't let nobody outwork me.
Right.
Man, it's great stuff. Man, Dougie, before we go, we only got a few more minutes. Just give us just a little bit about the Herbo, man. Just everybody just give us what was it like being on the Urban Coalition, man? And
the Urban Coalition back then, it was just your dad I think he probably told you the Urban Coalition was the place to be.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime that you want to see NBA players of all caliber, Moses Malone, Patrick Ewing, Buck Williams, Ernie Graham, Muggsy Bogues, Michael Graham, the list goes on and on. David Roberts. It was the epitome of what this area basketball it was. It really brought the basketball in the city to the forefront. Because people all over the East Coast was coming down just all over the country really was coming to the Urban Coalition just to play.
Yes, they
just to get some run in. So it was
Skip
Wise. Skip Wise. Wise, one of the greatest players to ever play. Don Lucas, Moses Malone,
AD, Adrian Danley.
Adrian Danley. Lenny Bynes.
Right.
The list go on and on and on. John Battle.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so many people, and you have to bring your A game.
Exactly.
You had to bring your A game. It wasn't a lot of defense up there because the players were just so daggone good. Obviously,
right.
It was hard to, it was hard to play good. He played good defense, but it was better offense.
Right.
So it was like a David Robinson.
Right.
I played on team. Yeah. So Danny Ferd. I mean, so many people, man, that played in that urban coalition, and like you said,
Ducky Vaughn.
Yeah.
You're modest, I tell you. You're modest. You're modest, Ducky. You're modest.
Yeah. Well, but I've always gave respect to those who played the game.
Right.
And gave them their due, and I think that they would do the same likewise, because I'm quite sure you've had a lot of interviews with people that have said good things about me. But those guys, I'm just a small piece of something. That's right.
You're an important piece, Ducky. I tell you, you're an important piece.
Yeah.
And listen, we sure appreciate that story, and I'm sure our viewers, if you guys didn't like that story with some of those players, JoJo White and Cornbread, and the Celtics.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Charlie. That's all those guys. Yeah, I've been on with all those guys, man.
Right. It's a testament to your work ethics and what you mean to this city as far as basketball goes, to this whole area.
And before I go, and for I owe a lot. Like I always told you before, Fatty Keller.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Fatty Keller having the confidence in me, none of this would have been possible. He just believed in me 100%.
Yeah. And there's so many legends that say that same thing about him.
Yeah. And Melvin Roberts.
Yeah,
and Melvin Roberts.
Yeah, I got an article coming out on him in a couple weeks. So
is that right?
Yeah. That's great.
Is that
man.
right? Okay. Yeah, well, hey, Ducky, listen, we sure appreciate you, sir. Surely do.
Okay, thank you for having me.
And folks, that was the man, again, the myth, the legend, Ducky Vaughn.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
All right, have a nice evening. Man, that was great, man. I was mesmerized by that story, man. I mean,
and getting to know him, he's actually on the board of advisors for the Legend Coalition.
Is that right?
So, just getting to know him on a personal level and,
right.
and like him being able to look at the game today.
Right.
And, have an understanding that a lot of guys, he actually coached in my combine last year.
I know. You surrounded yourself with some great people. And,
yeah, man, you talk about Kurt Smith and Charlie Harrison, these guys I'm with every day.
Right.
Those guys, they because they take that old school vision of basketball, they can show youth some.
Right.
I couldn't, and so that's the best part. Bootney Green, definitely another one. Jeff Baxter. I mean, these are guys that they're all cool. These are guys I can make a phone call with a question or an idea, and they're gonna give me great feedback and
Right.
great support. So it's nothing like being able to talk to those guys. Mike Graham is another guy I can talk to all the time.
Big Mike. And
You know.
that's amazing. So let me just ask you, we got just a couple minutes here. Let me just ask you, with me gaining more knowledge of you, and I sure appreciate you being here, have you thought of going to the college level, being a recruiter, being a coach? Do you have those aspirations?
I get asked that question every day.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
to.
gonna say it now. I will never coach on that level, and,
No?
and it's because at that point it becomes about your paycheck. And I have 4 young children,
Right.
and I'd rather basketball be something I do because I enjoy my role in it,
Right.
and I grow that way than I gotta be in this gym recruiting this
I
kid, even
understand.
if I don't think he's a good player. I've seen it. I mean, I have relationships with every school from PG Community College to Kansas University.
Great.
So I've seen every side of
I'm
it.
sure going, if you don't mind, make sure I get your number, man. I can pick your brain, man. I can
Definitely.
call on you along with Mike, man, for stuff
Anytime,
and
man.
just things in the future, man. Maybe have you come out and really speak to the kids, man.
Man,
I mean,
we can do it to help because just if I can mention, we do have the Revive the Inner High initiative. I'm partnered with the ANC Commissioner Ward 7, Eben Allen. We're trying to bring back the energy and initiative, the energy behind DC public school basketball. So that's something I'm really focused on now.
How do people get in touch with you?
Man, you can hit I'm on Facebook, Ricky Goins. I'm on Instagram at DC Rick. I'm on Twitter, DC Rick _. So I'm available. You just type me in. I'll respond right away. I try to respond to everybody to reach out to me because it's all about, keeping this area relevant and keeping opportunities for the kids. And with the Legends League, keep some opportunities for the adults.
Right, man. That is outstanding, man. I tell you, that is outstanding. Again, I'm sure glad Mike had you in here.
I appreciate it. Anytime, man. Come
We're
back
definitely
anytime.
going to follow up. So, hey, folks, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Thanks, Chico, for calling in, and, of course, Ducky, Mr. Vaughn. As always, we tell it to the young, we tell it to the old, we tell it to the hot, we tell it to the cold. We don't want no crying around here. We want plenty of laughing and don't want no signifying. I'm Eric Ravenel Hawkins, co-host for the Michael Graham Show. Again, he's under the weather, and this is Mr. Ricky Goins.
Great. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Yes, indeed. My pleasure. How we looking?